At 6:01 p.m. I call the meeting to order. Okay, hey everyone, welcome back. I'll give you the sign for roll call.
Okay. Yep. All right, Commissioner Sue. Okay, Commissioner Lau. Commissioner Liu. I'm sorry, Vice Chair Liu. Chair Misra.
Here.
Commissioner Gao.
Here.
Commissioner Prakash.
Here.
Commissioner Deshmukh.
Even.
Am I even close?
This is fine.
Okay. Commissioner Halambi. And Commissioner Kumar. Okay, yeah, you can go on.
Okay, so for ceremonial matters and presentations, first we have the subject is Outdoor Recreation Division, and the recommended action is to receive a presentation on the Outdoor Recreation Division from Kayla Nakamoto, Recreation Coordinator.
Thank you. All right. So as mentioned, I'm Kayla Nakamoto, and I work here in the Recreation Department, specifically in our Outdoor Division. I am housed at Blackberry Farm, and I'm gonna speak to all of the different programs that our division offers, but there are two other coordinators, Demile and Jason, who also work with me out in that division. All right. Thank you. So just an overview, and I'm happy to answer any questions at the end, or if I can't, I can get back to you. But we're gonna just go over what we offer. So Blackberry Farm Park, programs at McClellan Ranch, our community gardens program, and then golf course, and then I will share a recap of events and then some upcoming events. All right, so here, Jason Basaley is the coordinator that oversees programming out at Blackberry Farm Park. So there's a pool there. Has anyone been to the pool for rec swim or swim lessons? Or know anyone that works there? Perfect. Well, we are open, I believe it is Memorial Day to Labor Day, with the exception of one extra pooch plunge at the beginning, right before season starts. So we'll get there. But here are some numbers that from Flat Swim, different memberships. There's also picnic sites out there that you can rent during our open season. Oh, sorry, yeah, next slide. So here you can see, I think it's about 65 staff in the summer that Jason hires between lifeguards, park customer service attendants, park managers, and pool managers. And then a picture of lessons. Thank you. And then, as I mentioned, we have swim lessons and lap swim. Lap swim is, so I grew up a swimmer, and lap swim is something that I personally enjoy doing. Those numbers this summer, the limited, or I shouldn't say limited hours, but the hours that it was offered were right after the workday and then also right before lunch. So that and then some lessons are one-on-one with the swim instructor / lifeguard. Okay, so my personal favorite before I worked here, a thing that this department does is pooch plunge. So this is a day and now 2 days a year where dogs or pooches are invited to register, and they can come play in the pool before the season opens. And then it is the last day of the season. So here's just a couple of pictures of dogs. They don't have to get in the water either. There's different obstacle courses and things for dogs to enjoy outside. All right. So next we have McClellan Ranch Preserve. At the bottom left is Demile, the coordinator who oversees the programming out here. And then up in the top right is Chriselle. She is our newest staff person. She is our community coordinator who supports all of our programs out there. Okay, so next we have the Environmental Education Center. Has anyone been there before? Has anyone pet the tarantula or held the snake? So this is something that I think is pretty cool and unique to recreation departments in general. This is the first city that I have worked in that you could come see animal ambassadors such as Pretzel our snake or Rosie the tarantula. So sorry, before I move on, right there you have the open houses. So those are open if you or any of your friends or siblings want to go check it out, please do. Those are free to the community. Okay, next there's group reservations. So here are a couple of pictures of nature walks. There was also the top we have a ranger leading a nature walk, and on the bottom is the miles. This is for different groups that would like to organize a visit. Sometimes it's tied to school projects. And other times it is like we've had a homeschool group. We've also had seniors who Bay Area older adults who were losing their eyesight or various levels of visual impairment. So that was cool. Okay, and then right now we are in the fall season of third grade creek tours. So this is something that is very cool and also unique to, I think, very special that our department offers. Did anyone go on a creek tour in third grade? Like, how many years ago was that?
Yeah, like
Years of high school?
8 years almost. Wow.
So this is my first year getting to learn the programming. I've been here for just over a year. But it's very unique, it's very interesting, and it's cool to see the classes come through. And then also, as we transition to the next slide, it's also very cool to see some of our third graders come back and become city staff. So we have our city-run summer camp program is Nature and Science Camp out there. And they rotate throughout the summer. It's nature and then science. Yeah, every other week. Okay. Sorry, yeah, next slide. And then here, there are, each of these pictures are the different partners that our summer camp gets to see and work with. For example, and I will be talking about the community gardens in a little bit. In the upper left is our community gardens master gardener liaison. We have 4-H up there. We have our blacksmith, which I will lead into our next slide. The blacksmithing is something that you can register for as a course, and this is pretty cool. This also is I apologize, I don't recall which Saturday it is, but this during the open houses, I think it's the second Saturday of the month, is when they do blacksmith demoing for free as well. Okay. Next is there's an app that you can download for free. And this was, let's see, it was rolled out, I think, last year in 2024. And it was Join a Ranger AR guided nature walks. This was offered the second Saturday of every month. That started in January. I don't believe that's the current schedule, but you can go onto our website and find out more information. And then here's just a list of some additional programs that happen out at McClellan Ranch. We just said Join a Ranger, and so Raptors of the Corridor tour would be one that's pretty cool. Or if you have our latest recreation brochure, you'll see on the cover is highlighted one of our rangers and a photo of participants in a recent night hike and flashlight tour. Okay, community gardens. So also at McClellan, we have our community gardens program. We also expanded to Wilson Park. So there are 2 locations in this program. This falls under our division. This is open to Cupertino residents who would like to garden. They can apply to be on or apply to be in the program. And when there's a plot that is open, we then work with them to we go through this process where we verify the residency. We evaluate we prioritize based on these factors here, such as those who live in high density housing, who might not have access to a larger backyard or garden. And then if you're enrolled in a PG&E care program, that means that you'd be lower income than other residents. Next slide. So these numbers are ever changing, but just wanted to give you an idea of how many plots we have. We have 107 garden plots at McClellan Ranch, and then we have 15 total at Wilson Park. And next we have Blackberry Farm Golf Course. Does anyone golf in here? Or play foot golf? Has anyone played foot golf? That'll be coming. So Blackberry is a 9-hole par 29 course. And this is just some numbers of what we have, how many rounds that have been played at Blackberry in each of the fiscal years. And in the next slide, I will share just a couple of upcoming events. So one of the things I asked about foot golf is because if you don't golf, we're gonna do a foot golf tournament. So it's kind of like soccer is how I could best describe it. And there are bigger holes for the foot golf course. There's 9 holes again. This is going to be on May 2nd, which is a Saturday. So this is coming up. It'll be in the afternoon. The hope is that this will attract more community members who wouldn't typically go or might not typically find themselves at a golf course. And then there's an intergenerational golf tournament. So if you do golf or you know anyone that does golf, all levels of golfers. But the goal will be to do teams of mixing the generations. So that'll be on June 13th. Okay. Just a couple more slides here. So along the lines of special events, one of the things that I oversee and just have been working on in recent weeks is Earth and Arbor Day Festival. So this is a citywide free community event that celebrates Earth and Arbor Day, or Earth Day and Arbor Day. This is a recap from this past April, which was at Library Field. It was Saturday from 11 to 3 p.m. on April 5th. This upcoming year for 2026, if you want to save the date, it will be April 4th. So it's the first Saturday of the month. Same thing, 11 to 3. More information will be shared on the website. But a lot of different teen organizations out to be to participate in the event and offer a booth and whatnot. And we also had, I think, a couple of you help us MC the event. So if I will send an official request to your liaison when ready. Okay, and then last but not least from me is Cupertino Campout. So this is a recap of the last event. This is the second to last Saturday of July, and this is an annual event that has been happening for a few years now, and it's a great opportunity for the community, those who love camping or who are just curious if that's suitable for their family. I think it's pretty cool. This is offered at Creekside Park. We welcome volunteers, so feel free to also keep that in mind. And that concludes my presentation. Does anyone have any questions for me? And or any feedback of programs that you're aware of, or maybe things that I shared today where you might have a different, maybe some suggestions or things that might appeal better to the teen population.
Thank you, Kayla. We can move on to commission questions, as she asked. Are there any questions from the commission? I had a quick question. You mentioned the 107 garden plots, which is a huge number. How big are these plots?
I can give you exact dimensions. The garden plots, hold on. I should have this memorized off the top of my head.
Probably a lot for, I imagine they're not all the same size, right?
They are not, and so at McClellan, for example, I would give you, while I pull this up. At McClellan, for example, we have, 6 plots in the back that are, in-ground garden beds. So the difference between an in-ground garden bed and a raised garden bed is just that one is raised, so it's, there's wood panels, and it is, I wanna say it's 4 feet tall. That doesn't sound right, it's 2 feet tall. And then there's also 88 plots. So they are 3 different measurements. I will get that to you shortly.
Time, any questions that might have popped up? Yeah.
So I have a school club that also wants to do the gardening initiative. Would we be able to use like these plots for gardening?
That's a really good question.
Probably you would need to ask, but probably they're full, because I think most of the plots are full, as part of the community gardening program. So that might be something to ask offline, but I know that you're fairly full.
Yeah, what I was gonna say, you can always apply to be on the wait list. But I'm happy to, maybe Sonia can connect us via email and we can follow up.
I was gonna say for Earth and Arbor Day last year, when emceeing a lot of the stage was pretty far from the rest of the event, so it took a lot more there were a lot less people actually in the audience than there could have been. So maybe this year move the stage a bit closer to the rest of the events.
I had a question regarding like the app that you're using, like the VR sort of nature tour. So I just was wondering like, how has it been used so far? How have like people been using it? And just like maybe a piece of feedback, maybe if there's like any older students, like maybe middle or high schoolers, it could be like a good trip for them because they could also use like the phone and stuff.
That is a great question. This is, something I would have to look further into or talk to Miles, the coordinator, about. Sorry, your question was, how is it being used? So to my knowledge, which was before I started here, but it was, started out as a program, as a way for people to engage with, this app, and it gives you like different games, for example, by the community garden, so you can learn about things that the city offers while making it a little more engaging for kids, full community members at large. But that was the intent, I believe. And then it was a way for our rangers to take people around with their phones and their apps so that they could learn more in addition to just taking the app, because anyone can download it and it is free.
And it was kind of set up for, you can independently take your phone, because knowing that a lot of people use their phone, you can independently take a tour. Like you wouldn't have to have a tour set up with our coordinator, a naturalist. You could take your phone and learn independently, and be out in nature and kind of like experience what it's teaching you about.
I want to walk back to the garden plot. They are 16 feet long by 6 feet wide, and 1.5 for the raised garden beds.
That's great, thank you. So is there any public comment?
There are no people waiting to make public comment, so no.
Okay, and does the commission have any final comment? Thank you so much,
Thank
Kate.
you guys for having me.
Okay, Moving on to the second subject. Subject is youth-led organization Tino Echo. Recommended action is receive a presentation from youth-led organization Tino Echo for Teen Commission Ally Program.
Do this last year?
So we'll talk more about that.
Okay, so Mega, I see that you're on, if you want to come on camera.
Hi, I also believe some of my other presenters are in the waiting room.
Hold on a sec, we can't quite hear you. Can you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Before I start my presentation, I think some of my other presenters are in the waiting room.
I don't see anybody in the waiting room.
Oh, wait, is it possible to share this meeting link?
Um, actually, I prefer not to because we don't have our administrator here, so it'd be a little bit harder for me to have them join last second. Are you able to do the presentation?
Yeah, sure. Can you give me a second?
I can also share your slides if you'd like.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Let me do that. Okay.
Okay, so what is Tino Eco? So this is going to be a brief overview of what our organization does. And my name is Mega, and I'm the publication director. Can you move to the next? Yeah, thank you. Who we are a youth-led environmental nonprofit focused on climate literacy and community action. We started like 2 years ago in 2023, and we fight environmental doomism by creating articles, podcasts, and resources highlighting local initiatives and volunteering through Adopt a Part program at Rainbow Park and other initiatives I'll get more into. We're here to inspire positive change, uplift youth voice, and build a community that cares about sustainable future. So more about Adopt a Park. Tino Eco has adopted Rainbow Park under the city's Adopt a Park initiative. So our team helps clean, maintain, and rejuvenate the park. We hold engaging cleanups for the youth to ensure the park is fresh and welcoming. We do this like every other week. So we meet up at a specified spot and we walk around the park and we try to pick up and clean up the park. We also hold walkathons, kind of like once a month. So here students come together to pick up trash while walking through like local neighborhoods and public spaces. These events not only like keep our community clean and beautiful, but also provide an opportunity for students to work collaboratively towards a shared environmental goal. Beyond like the immediate impact of reducing litter, the walkathons also help like raise awareness about environmental responsibility and inspire others in our community to take action in caring for the planet. Okay, so one of our sub teams that we have is the publication team. So we have various writers and graphic designers working on creating articles and Instagram snippets on environmental topics. Some of them are like really local and some of them are like more overreaching global issues. And our goal is just to make information on environmental issues, advocacy, and green careers easy and digestible. So they're like really short and they have pictures that engage the audience. Yeah. And then we also have something that's with the publication, which is the podcast. So we produce a podcast initiative to build stronger connections with our community. We give a voice to local organizations, environmental activists, specialists, officials, and more. It delivers detailed yet casual discussions that educate and engage listeners in a more accessible way. So one of our initiatives that we started in 2023 was the carbon footprint competition. And basically we hosted, it was designed to spread awareness of climate change and help participants develop sustainable habits to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So the competition was aimed at teens in Cupertino, but anyone in all ages in the US were allowed to join. So in the competitions, students completed a variety of tasks that we assigned, including like creating artwork or poetry centered on carbon footprints. And then we highlighted local organization, activists, and officials so participants would connect with real voices in climate work. We also combined art with environmental science to attract and engage a wide variety of students by making environmental topics more approachable and facilitating casual educational discussions during the event. We were able to raise awareness and create a community that understands that climate action can be thoughtful, creative, and inclusive. And one of our plans, just like the carbon footprint competition, we plan to host this. And right now we haven't started promoting yet, but we have set down like the groundwork, and it's the core challenge. So it's a challenge that, just like the carbon footprint competition, allows the youth to make direct impact with environmental actions. So we have like a list of environmental opportunities students can get involved in the community. Like it could be something like reading articles and like writing a paragraph summarizing it and their takeaways, or it could be attending local like community events and showing pictures as proof. And then as each participant completes an action, they will get like prizes and it'll be tracked on our website. And it allows participants to help with our medium so that they can get more direct impacts. And it also promotes environmental action and makes it more interactive. So these are some of the events that we participate in every year. So we participate in the Cupertino. We shared our work, raised awareness about environmental issues, and encouraged community involvement in sustainability, making it a fun and manageable way to promote action. We also were part of the Bike Fest, where we led helmet decorating activities and got to connect with the younger generation, and which is really important. And it was fun to engage with kids while also promoting safety and creativity. In August, we also attended the Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action Impact Summit, where we joined over 500 attendees, including like youth leaders, professionals, and elected officials from across the region. The summit was an incredible opportunity to connect with others who shared our passions for environmental advocacy. We were able to network with a lot of local organizations and climate activists, and it helped us learn about different approaches to sustainability and community engagement. And then overall, the summit just left us feeling motivated and empowered to continue taking meaningful action and building connections within the environmental community. We also attended the Lehigh Quarry Town Hall meeting, where we learned more about the quarry's operations, environmental concerns, and future land use plans. This experience was especially meaningful because we actually researched into this issue and we wrote articles about it and we had like a whole podcast about it. So it was really cool to hear directly from local officials, community members, and environmental advocates. And it gave us valuable insight and a deeper understanding of the complexities surrounding the topic. Attending the meeting helped us stay informed about ongoing developments and reinforced our commitment to supporting responsible environmental practices within our community. And if we were to be highlighted by the Teen Commission, we would like to promote our member sign up because last year a lot of our like lead members were seniors. So once they graduated, we have this policy where it can only be high schoolers. So right now, a lot of the underclassmen are stepping in, and we're kind of like revamping the whole organization. So we really need like more member signups to make the core challenge and all other initiatives we have planned possible. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mega, for that presentation. Does the commission have any questions for Tina Echo?
Just for each of your events, do you have any numbers like podcasts, how many listeners, website articles, how many readers, the other events you mentioned, just how many members overall, participants?
Members wise, I know we have like 20 to 30 members right now. But some of them aren't like fully active, which is why we want to like promote our organization more. For publication, I know we have around like 50 viewers, but it's gone down a lot since, as I mentioned, a lot of our organization members like graduated and moved on to college. The podcast, I'm not completely sure.
So, I just want to acknowledge that Tino Echo was highlighted last year as well by the Teen Commission. So I want to ask if there's anything particularly new that Tino Echo has started in terms of initiatives or programs since then.
Yeah, a main thing, I would say like we have been focusing on revamping our organization more, like getting new leadership and figuring out the structure more. But one of our biggest initiatives that we're working on right now is the core challenge, like I mentioned. We've been like looking into community events that people could participate in, and we have like all the lists out, and our website has been under like for the revamp. So we have like an area where once members like sign up, they can like see their scores and they can like track the events they have participated in. So I'd say that's like our biggest initiative, and we want to promote that soon. We're kind of waiting around until like the start of the year in Jan, because right now I think a lot of the students are like finals are coming up and it's the holiday season. So when we start in Jan, we really want to like be able to promote better and have a lot of participants to really get the full potential out of our initiative.
Okay, great. I have one more follow-up for that core challenge. It sounds like a really great program or initiative to undertake. I was wondering if you have, based on your past engagements, any projections for the number of participants for the core challenge? Because from what I understand, it's in like early stages of development still.
Yeah. So far we're looking at, I think last time included, we're projected to around 20 people. I know a lot of our officers have been talking to like students at school and like trying to find out how many people are engaged, and we have gotten a few engagements. Also, like last time we did it was in 2023. So around then we got like 15-ish participants. So we're looking around that number right now.
Okay, got it. Any other questions?
I guess it's sort of repetitive almost, but question would be like within like the next two maybe. What would the perfect world look like in terms of like numbers, programs, and then overall attendance and participation of the members?
Wait, sorry, could you repeat that? I didn't completely.
So sorry. Can I hear me right now? Like I'm talking.
You'll definitely have to speak loud.
Okay, so Is this a good volume?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, I was just asking, like, in the next 1 or 2 years, what would the perfect world look like in terms of like, I guess, as you mentioned, numbers, but then also like the programs and how people are interacting with them? Like, how would that look like in your perfect world?
Is it in terms of like the whole organization or just like the core challenge?
I mean, you could just talk about the core challenge because I see that's like what you're trying to focus on, but if you want to talk about the mission as a whole, that'd be fine as well.
Okay, in terms of the core challenge mainly, we aim to have a lot of participants, maybe like I would say ideally around 50. And we would, I think the main thing we want to see out of this initiative is people like really going to these community events and like taking part, especially like teens, um, taking action because we are really the like future generation. So it would be nice to see teens and the younger generation taking part in climate action, but also like educating themselves more about it, which is like really the main takeaway here. Like we're facing a lot of climate. Wait, sorry, I lost my track of. We're facing a lot of issues, climate issues like climate change and all that stuff. So I think it could be really reduced if people started taking action because then they'll like be more interested in it. And if they educate themselves, then they'll be like open to um, doing more environmental like advocacy in the future.
Yeah, this is sort of an add-on to the previous question, but have you guys ever considered expansion of this nonprofit beyond just like Cupertino or Silicon Valley? Like, maybe having like other branches around California or anything like that that you guys have maybe considered?
I don't think we've thought too much into it, but yeah, it's definitely kind of been on our minds. I think mainly when we started it, it was like all people here, mainly in Cupertino High School. So we wanted to start it here. But yeah, I think it would be really great to have like more kind of like branch out further because then we would be able to get like more participants. And the main issue with these were like the core challenge and carbon footprint, it was the prices. Like if someone won a prize, we wouldn't be able to like get it to them if they were really far away. But I think if we were able to branch out, then that would be possible and it would get us more participants as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Since last year, have you seen like a growth in participants in your events?
Uh, I think the walkathons and the adopt a park, we have seen a bit of an increase, not too much, maybe like just 5 to 10-ish more people. But this is like our first time we're doing a core challenge after the carbon footprint, so I'm not sure if we'll see a growth yet. But I think we've been definitely planning on promoting more, like putting up more flyers, putting more posts. So I hope to see an increase in the participants.
From what you've said in your presentation about like wanting more participants, how are you planning to market this organization other than just the YLO shout out?
Wait, what did you say? Other than the
Just like this YLO shout out that you guys also had last. Organization.
yeah, we have a publication team, so we're planning on, I think the best way to get engagement is through like reels. So we're planning to put out reels. We've also been, like I said, just like for the core challenge, we've been planning to put out more flyers in like community places like we're trying to ask like schools to like maybe promote, but it's a bit difficult since we're not like exactly a school club. And then we've been also trying to put out like flyers in like coffee shops or just anywhere like teens usually go to, so they can like see it and it'll hopefully promote them to join.
We tried reaching out to like FUHC Climate Collective. I know that's like that there's an organization within the FUHC school district that like does these sort of like climate like change events and things like that. Have you tried like connecting to them directly?
I'm not sure if it was when I was an officer, so I'm like not fully clear about this, but I do think we have collaborated with them before. I think we did like a panelist kind of activity about green careers with them before. I think for this like core challenge specifically, we wanted to like promote it ourselves and because it would also like promote the organization itself as well as like this initiative.
So, I said, I know in your presentation you said that you've adopted Rainbow Park, right? Have you done work in any other parks, like in Cupertino?
I think on our like walkathons, we go around the community, but I don't think we've specifically like gone in and cleaned another park other than Rainbow Park. No.
Are there any other questions? Okay. And is there any public comment?
There's no public comment.
Okay. Any final comments? Okay, in that case, thank you, Mega, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Great, okay. Now we're gonna move on to approval of minutes. The subject is approval of minutes October 8, 2025, and the recommended action is review and approve the minutes for the team commission meeting on October 8, 2025.
I usually interject right now because I know a lot of you call or text for rides. We're still probably about an hour for the meeting, just to give you an idea. If you need to pull out your phone and text your yeah, yes.
We still have another hour.
About, I'd say about an hour because we have. Yeah. Maybe less.
Do we?
We probably, actually, we don't have. So you could just be. Absent. No.
It's like everyone's done with their own minutes. Are there any questions from the commission? Any public comment?
There's no public comment.
Okay. Any final comments? Okay. I'm gonna call for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second to this motion? I'm gonna hand it over to Sonia for the voting.
Okay, Commissioner Sue,
Uh,
Commissioner Lau, Vice Chair Liu,
Yes.
Chair Misra.
Yep.
Chair Commissioner Gao,
Yes.
Commissioner Prakash, Commissioner Deshmukh, Commissioner Halambi,
Yes.
Commissioner Kumar.
Yes.
The motion passes with all of 9 yeses, 0 nos, and no absent.
Great. Okay, we have no postponements
No postponements.
and any oral communications?
We don't have any members of the public.
Okay. We have no old business?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to new business. Subject is active transportation plan, and the recommended action is to receive a presentation and provide feedback on the active transportation plan from Matt Schrader and transportation planner.
Thank you. But we need you for a while.
Yeah, thanks for waiting.
Interesting to listen to. All right, so there. Okay, so I'm going to provide a presentation on the active transportation plan. Many of you might be aware of it, some of you might not. So I will go through a description of the project, tell you about what we heard in phase 1, because we're in phase 2 right now. Go over a little bit of the analysis work that was performed during phase 1. Talk to you about how you can comment on the network recommendations that have been developed. And then kind of conclude with a little overview of what we've been doing in phase 2 in terms of getting feedback on projects. So some brief background here. The idea for an active transportation plan has been kicked around for a couple of years. It was considered as a formal city work program item 2 years ago. Last year, it was approved as a city work program item. Council then approved funding for the project, and then they approved the contract with our consultant that's assisting in this effort, that's Alta, in December of last year, and then that project kicked off earlier this year. So if you're not familiar with what an active transportation plan is, it's a document that aims to make it easier for people to walk and bike in the city. We look at the bicycle network, and the network is just the different types of bike lanes, how they connect, see where they can be improved, if there are any connections that need to be made. We do the same thing for walking, so for the pedestrian network. Also coming up with program and policy recommendations. That could be a recommendation for funding e-bike education programs, or maybe something like red light cameras or other technology solutions. So that's included. And they also could be more on the formal policy side of things. So stating that we are going to prioritize looking at certain collision factors and addressing those. So that's kind of a broad overview of what the active transportation plan is. You can think about, all right, what improvements can the city make that will make it easier for me to move around the city by walking or biking? And we're doing this for a couple of reasons. We previously had a 2016 bike plan and a 2018 pedestrian plan, and we completed a lot of projects that were in those. So things like the Regnar Creek Trail or the bike lanes that are in front of Main Street Cupertino that are going to be extended along Stevens Creek, those were identified. The Tamian Trail, which is a trail that's going to run from Mary Avenue to Valco Shopping Center, that's being built. That was a project identified. So we've completed a lot of those, and we needed to update the list. Additionally, having 2 separate plans, one bike focused and one ped focused, made it difficult to select which projects should be prioritized. So we had a ranked list in each plans, but it's kind of difficult comparing, all right, is a pedestrian tier 1 project the same as a bike class A project? So we're unifying the 2 plans to make it easier to make decisions on projects in the future. So phase one was the existing conditions and needs assessment phase is what it's called. And what we heard from the public during this phase is a lot of key takeaways, which I'll get into in the next slide. But in terms of the outreach that was performed, you may have seen some of these signs throughout the city. We printed banners and yard signs, hung them on trails, in parks, along medians. We also held 2 community workshops and posted signs in coffee shops and really tried to get the word out. So through that, we reached almost a little over 1,300 people and almost 3,000 comments that we got from the public. And the key takeaways were that people wanted better connections. So where there are gaps, fill those. People feel like pedestrians have been overlooked in recent years and a lot of investment made in bicycle infrastructure. So kind of reorienting that or rebalancing it. And then the 2 common themes that came up the most were they wanted the city to focus on safety and accessibility and improvements around schools. So making sure students have what everyone I'm sure is here familiar with, safe routes to schools. Also that the final plan should reflect all voices and opinions about active transportation. There are a lot of people that feel like bicyclists have been prioritized over the needs of motorists. So capturing those voices is important, making clear the trade-offs about projects. So whether that's potential impacts to parking or maybe some impacts to traffic operations, doing a little more detailed analysis to identify those before moving projects forward is important, as well as maintaining and not just building. So dedicating funding to make sure that bike lanes are swept, that sidewalk is repaired in a timely manner. And then to figure out a way to track progress. So when facilities get built, putting counters along the way to understand what the potential increase in bicycle ridership is, or how many new walkers there are on different trails in the city. So those were the key takeaways from our public engagement in phase one. And then at the same time that we were doing that outreach, just to listen where people want to go, where they find it challenging to go, we also did some data analysis. And the first thing that we did is we performed what's called a level of traffic stress. So we did this for pedestrians and bicyclists, and this takes into account the roadway's characteristics. So things like the posted speed limit on the road, the width of the road, the presence of certain types of infrastructure, the width of the sidewalk, all those things go into this formula to determine what is the perceived level of stress for someone that would be traveling along that path. And we came up with these maps. So we did it for pedestrians and we did it for bicyclists. So LTS1 is the lowest stress option, and LTS4 is a high stress facility that would discourage you from either walking or biking. And then we did something really cool. We performed what's called active trip potential analysis, which is capturing cell phone data to determine where people are driving in the city to get an understanding of where are a bunch of short driving trips currently occurring. So from this, we captured all driving trips in spring of last year using a product that is provided from this company, Replica. And we learned that 30% of all driving trips that either start or end in Cupertino are less than 5 miles. And so what this allows us to do is understand where there is potential right now for trips to be either converted to walking, biking. So walking trip potential would be trips less than 1 mile. Biking trip potential is trips less than 3 miles. And then we looked at what would be e-bike potential. So above 3 and less than 5. And then the next thing we did is we combined those 2 analysis methods to come up with our stress adjusted short trips. So what we wanted to do was pinpoint where are there a bunch of short trips currently occurring that are also along high stress routes. So if we make improvements in these areas, maybe those short driving trips could be accomplished by either walking or biking. And this is important because we know that on high stress routes, if people are traveling longish distances, they perceive that time to be greater than it actually is. And then from that, we came up with these gap scores. And this is an example of the walking gap score. So what this map shows is the red hexagon here shows that there's a high concentration of short driving trips happening in this area, as well as trips into this area are along high stress routes. So this gives us a good understanding of potentially if we made improvements, where could they have significant benefits with respect to mode shift. So for walking and then as well as for biking here. And then, so what we heard from the public as well as the analysis, we kind of combined those together and came up with network recommendations. And these network recommendations can be found online, and you can comment, like, and at the end, we'll run them through what's called a prioritization criteria screening. And the projects that come out at the top are the ones that the city council will likely decide to pursue. So on our website, we have all the walking improvements, all the biking improvements, and you can toggle on and off those specific improvements using the red button in the right. So I've been at pop-up events this fall, had big maps printed out for people to kind of perform that exercise in person. Kind of a little example list here of what's happening. Ran out of space for October, but we've been to the BPC, to Planning Commission, City Council reviewed the project last week or 2 weeks ago. And then we've held our community workshops. So if you're interested in learning more, learning about either the analysis or more about the outreach that happened, all of our technical memos, summarized work is available online, as well as the public input map. You can go in, comment, like or dislike projects. So that's my presentation.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions from the commission?
Ooh, Foothill Road, is any biking infrastructure gonna be added to Foothill?
Yes, there are proposed projects for Foothill. And if you like those projects, you can go online and click the like button.
I have a quick question. I was wondering what the gap score was for those maps over there.
Yeah, can you share my screen here? The gap score is showing where are there high concentrations or where's there a high number of short driving trips that are concentrated along high stress routes. And sometimes when there's a significant amount of short driving trips, that kind of has an impact on which areas end up receiving the highest scores. So over here at De Anza College, that also captures the Sports Center, Quinlan. So anecdotally, I'm sure you can attest that there are a bunch of short driving trips happening in this area.
So when like an area has a higher gap score, that means it's less feasible to implement like projects to decrease the number of short driving trips then?
It's in an essence, yeah. It's saying that this is a high stress area, but there's also high potential for walking or biking.
Oh, okay.
So look at this and consider what significant improvements need to be made to overcome that high stress barrier because there is high potential.
Okay, got it. So are there any other questions? I had one more question. I was wondering if there's any way for, I guess, youth members of the community to be involved in this project, besides, of course, giving the feedback on the like and dislike parts of phase 2.
I would say sharing it with your friends and family, commenting, advocating for the projects that you like. We're gonna be going back to council in January, so there's opportunities to speak about anything that's in the plan. So you can go online, look at the documents, look at our programs and policies that are being recommended. Look at the prioritization criteria, see if you agree with the way that projects are being scored, and then comment at council.
Okay, great. If there's no other questions, are there any public comments?
There's no public comments.
Okay, any final comments from the commission? Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Next subject is evaluation of Tino Echo for a second. What? Recommended act, discuss and vote on Tino Echo youth-led organization for a second teen commission highlight spot. So,
You can pass it over to me and I can
Yeah.
a little background.
Sonia percent context on this.
Okay, so those of you. For those of you who are second terms, you. Actually exactly a year ago, here, and they presented and we voted and made the highlight spot. We received another application and we, as a teen commission, had kind of started this youth-led organization highlight program, with a lot of parameters, but there was nothing to address either way if they, the organization could reapply for another highlight spot. So absence of not having that as like a goal or criteria, I did let them know, like, okay, go ahead and apply and we'll have you come and present. And you can present the things that have happened, you know, like maybe to emphasize things that have happened since last year. And it is a rolling organization, for the leadership, as you can see, it's a totally different person that's presenting. So I'm just putting out there to you for discussion first. We could have broken this into two different, agenda items, but we'll tackle it one at a time. The first thing that I'm looking for discussion and then a vote on from you is, should we allow an organization to apply twice and get a highlight twice? Keeping in mind, it's basically a shout out on our, Instagram and Facebook, I believe. So it's one shout out that they get. So it's not like they're getting a lot of promotion. So I think that's an important thing to keep in mind when you have the discussion.
So the two parts basically we'll be looking at is like, do we allow and set this for organizations to be able to apply for more than one YLO highlight? And then based on that, are we highlighting Tino Echo today or not? So is there anyone who wants to start this kind of discussion about what they think about allowing that second highlight?
I can start.
Yeah.
I think if we assume the YLO or the whole idea of the YLO stays exactly as it is right now, there's just no plan on anything bigger than what it is right now, just a shout out, then I see no issue with more than one, maybe like the limit on more than once a year, so the same organization doesn't get shouted out every month. But I think another question about the YLO itself, I think right now the YLO itself, I'm not sure what the viewership on those shout outs are, but I'm going to guess they're not that much viewership. So I was thinking about the YLO organization itself. Perhaps a way to incentivize more people joining is, first of all, counterproductively it seems, but maybe make it a bit more exclusive for one, and then perhaps a little bit more than just a shout out. It doesn't have to be too much. For example, a certificate from the city, or for example, some sort of endorsement that they can just put on their organization to incentivize more people to join, and then not make it seem like we're just handing them out for free. So put together, perhaps increase the attractiveness of applying for a YLO in the first place. But as for doing it over twice, I think once a year is.
I think that's a great idea, actually, now that you mention it. I also agree with the limit, like the time limit between applications for YLOs. I was also thinking, because we definitely don't want just one organization getting highlighted month after month. And I do agree that that certificate idea or some sort of more official or just more structured shout out from the city beyond the Instagram post is a good idea. Is there anyone else who wants to add on?
I feel like sometimes I spoke with the chair of my students, it's probably not a good idea to have it every single month, so. Like a yearly reset for shoutouts would be a good idea, but. If we're gonna expand our shoutouts beyond like a post on the social media page. I feel like we should probably be like giving, maybe stopping a little bit more than just like. So handing out a certificate or handing out something more complex in IG posts.
And anyone feel free to jump in at any point.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, last year when it came to this same organization applying, sort of how exactly did this like endorsement really help boost them? Because obviously, like the whole point of like these endorsements is to really like support these nonprofits. So I know a lot of you guys were also asking about this, but I just wanted to know if there's any like more increase in terms of like numbers, viewership, like seeing if the organization really improved during that 1 year with them.
I personally feel like there hasn't been much growth for
Yeah.
I feel like we've kind of stayed the same.
Yeah,
I suppose this is more of a question on the exclusiveness of the YLO. Is it meant to be, well, I mean, if we want more people, I would assume it should be a bit more exclusive. Or I suppose making it exclusive and then adding in the other extra other stuff should probably go together. So if it plans on staying as it is right now, then I mean, I don't see a harm. If they're, I mean, even if they don't do anything with the endorsements, it doesn't cost us much to do the Instagram post either. So it's just low cost for everything, but also probably low results and low applications too.
yeah.
I would just say, I think we have to make it more effective with the results because like they're not really growing and I can see like their membership is also kind of. So I think if we make it more exclusive, then we also have to get better results.
Just to clarify, when you say making the YLO more exclusive, you mean the shout out, right?
Well, no, I just meant like when we're like evaluating organizations, I think we should maybe have a bit, more stricter standards, for example, well, perhaps not strict standards, but I mean, last year we just approved everything on a unanimous vote. I feel like that's probably everything just went through a unanimous vote. So I feel like that's probably, I don't know, if we want to make it something bigger, make the YLO anything bigger, if it's just everything one gets one, yes, so yes, it's easy to get in, but also it's less incentive for people to spend the time to apply if everyone gets in, it's just a shout out. So I think I'd say like making adding that first plus the exclusivity would probably go together. I guess it's not a specific set of guidelines we'd be implementing, it's just more generally when evaluating, it's like it's okay to vote no, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I just want to ask something about the exclusivity though. So in terms of like this month, do we have any other like competing organizations or other organizations wanting to?
No, we don't. And just to sort of speak to that, part of what, the reason that this was formed as a program is that we want the teen commission to help to highlight programs, and part of the application is that they come and they present to you. We're live streaming. So it's an opportunity for them to get out and promote their organization, and all of the teen commission to hear, and then potentially go back to your schools, your community, and to continue to promote it. So open, yes, not like very harsh on the evaluation, yes, but also not necessarily intended for that. It was really intended more to make sure that we don't have organizations that are forming at the last minute and then trying to get like promoted, but they've only been in existence for like 3 months and they want to show that they did something maybe like right before college applications. That's what we're really trying to avoid. But the organizations that are doing good things in the community, and we've had some presentations, I think it's been okay that it's anonymous, unanimous yeses to highlight them. Because in the end, it really is just a highlight, shout out kind of post. But the whole intention of it is to get them to come and present and share organization. So if you look at it from that, that's maybe the background.
I mean, there are no competitors for a shout out, then I don't really see an issue with giving Tino Echo another shout out. But I agree with Harley that if there are other competitors, then we might want to look into exclusivity and how that might work.
I think for this scenario as well, I think like as we were discussing before, it seems like this organization, it's sort of been like not improving as much. So I definitely think that we like that there's no harm in doing a shout out, but I really also want to emphasize more about how like we could help more so that, you know, we could really help this or like improve a lot more with our endorsement.
I also wanna jump in and just
There's no limit on how many YLOs we can highlight, right?
Correct. We just haven't had as many that have applied and, I would love to see the teen commission out there promoting, like, just come and talk to us, come and tell us what you're doing. That was the reluctance on, my end as the liaison to not have them come again to present because they may be doing something new and just helping them to get the word out about their programs. But I'd love to see more applications. That's a lot of, part of it is advising staff, giving your perspective, but the other part is really getting out to the community. What resources are out there for them, what cool things are happening by other teams for the community.
Yeah, so I think there's also a competition aspect to, like, we don't have to necessarily pick one YLO over the other, at least not at this point, based on the volume of applications we're getting, which is fine, because the applications we have gotten are pretty solid, so nothing to speak to like we're doing bad or good, but what I've heard is like we want to kind of make sure that these incentives are helping out the YLOs that receive them. Speaking to the exclusivity points and the extra perks that we were talking about. And then I also heard some stuff about going ahead and highlighting Tino Echo because it doesn't cost as much. And also a point that I'd like to bring up, they did sort of acknowledge why they're applying for a second time, where they explicitly said that now with a large amount of their like cohort having graduated, seems like they do need more participation. And being a very Tino focused organization, as I think Kumar brought up, I think this does make sense for them to apply for a second time. So as we said, we were going to break this up into sort of two like items or two points of discussion. One, do we allow in general YLOs to apply a second time? And then if that's a yes, we'll move on to deciding whether or not Tino Echo today gets a YLO shout out. Does that kind of make sense, or is there a different structure that we want to approach this with? Okay, cool. So how we're gonna do this is we're gonna raise a motion to vote on regarding whether or not we allow two like second time YLO highlights. But before we actually get to that, we did talk a little bit about the terms, I guess, of a second highlight. We brought up a time limit, like once a year kind of thing. So I'd like us to discuss a little more about that before we actually raise a motion, just to be sure on what we're voting on for this.
Just YLOs can, like, one organization can apply for YLO once a year.
I don't think it should be too like complicated. But I had another like quick question. Would we ever be like visiting like for this like discussion, are we gonna be visiting the idea of maybe having more of like an incentive for the applications, like for example, doing more than just a shout out, maybe like as we were talking about certificate, would we discuss about that as well, or is it when we just seeing if it's organized?
Yeah, so we were talking.
I would suggest, because that would be getting beyond the agenda item, so I would suggest, when we get to future agenda setting, suggest that we have a discussion on it.
Okay, sounds good.
So let's focus on like the idea of second time. And if the once per year model sounds good to everyone, we can raise a motion for that, right?
Correct.
So do I go ahead with,
Call for a motion.
I have a question before. So actually two questions. One for the once a year, does it start like that 1 year's time period start from the previous time they like try to have like the YLO program, or like does it start every like I don't know teen commission year, like when the terms start again?
like,
I think it should be like the last time they got it. Like, for example, if they got it like November 2024, they could only get it, like the next time they could get it is November 2025. I feel like that's fair.
And then my second question is if they can apply a second time, will they be allowed to like apply a third time or a fourth time in the following years?
I think it would make sense to just enforce that like time limit, and then, I personally don't see like an organization applying like 10 times over 10 years being like a particularly big issue, so, but you guys should, comment on that. What do you think?
I still think that they would change a lot over time, especially like if they reapply 10 times, so. And
I feel like when it comes to the case where we may need to pick multiple different organizations, let's say if it gets a lot more competitive, I think in those scenarios, we should prioritize the newer ones, but other than that, I really don't see it.
State organization should. I feel like they shouldn't be running if they're running on like the same programs. I mean, like, Echo obviously did a lot of their core programs. So I guess that was part of the reason also that they wanted to get featured. I feel like if an organization is running the same thing over and over again, probably shouldn't be looking at them that same. They should apply, but like, there's nothing new for us to really feature there.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point to bring up. It kind of goes back to what Commissioner Kumar just said about prioritizing newer applications or newer organizations that are first time applications in the case of when we're like, if we have to weigh, like, okay, here's an organization that's not doing applying again versus like a fresh organization that we haven't seen before. Okay, so
So closed discussion, there's no public comment. And then you basically have had last comments already, so now you would call for a motion.
okay, so I'll call for a motion to finalize what we want to do with second time or third time or multiple time YLO highlight applications.
Just motion to set a precedent for YLO applications every year since the last time they applied.
Okay, any seconds to that motion?
Second.
I think we'll go with Commissioner Susan. I'll hand it over to Sonia.
Okay, so this is acting on that motion, which was seconded. We'll be voting Commissioner Sue, Commissioner Lau, Vice Chair Liu, Chair Misra,
Yes.
Commissioner Gao,
Yes.
Commissioner Prakash, Commissioner Deshmukh, Commissioner Halambi, Commissioner Kumar. Motion passes with 9 yeses, noes, and 0 absent.
Okay, great. So now that we know, we can highlight them once a year since their last highlight. Let's talk about whether or not we want to give Tino Echo this second highlight. So we can just do a discussion like we just did.
I have a presentation, sorry,
Oh,
to
okay.
let you know. But I have, I'll run through it really quickly.
Okay, so should
Yes, I
we
do have-
save this voting until afterwards?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I
No,
should
no,
let
you're
you know
good.
that. Okay, so I'm just gonna run through their application basically, so I put it up here so that you have that information. Okay, we'll just review it and then we'll consider them specifically. This is a good thing for especially our newer commissioners. We do have a set of criteria and questions that we want to answer whenever we're like evaluating a YLO. So they are asked all these questions and then the commission has gotten particularly good about actually making sure to ask pointed questions about some of these items. If you have any questions, we've learned through the process that we would take the presentation, we'd forget to ask them when they were here, and then we get to the evaluation and we realize we should ask the questions. So you'll notice that some of your veteran commissioners were asking much more pointed questions of them. Okay. So this is Tino Eco, and they have a new contact, Mega Vinesh. They're a nonprofit spreading awareness on climate issues. They gave a fairly vague answer on this, but Cupertino and Bike Fest are basically the events that look like have happened since the last time they did, and then obviously the core challenge is something that they're going to be doing. And this is just a whole presentation on that. How they're engaging people is through articles and podcasts, and they're also inviting people to volunteer with them. And their plans for after graduation, I'll just make a side note. It's actually that part of it is working well because they have a whole new group of people that are in charge. So that's how the applying again. I think it's good that you're open to having it happen once a year because the seniors graduate out and there may be a slight change in the organization. So they have done that and they're like accounting for the longevity of the organization. What makes them unique, that just they allow high schoolers to use their ideas and passions to create initiatives that will help the environment. And more about that, encouraging strong writers to voice their opinions. Thought that was fairly unique. And the hands-on activities, and just remember that they also use like art to show environmental conscientiousness as well. And let's see, they're going to be partnering and doing this core challenge. So still to come. You might consider that your shout out might be well help with that organization, collaboration with those organizations. And they sort of threw in that they have a point system for helping people to be involved in their organization. And when they participate more, then they can potentially win prizes within the organization. So that's a little unique as well. I don't think we've heard that. Okay, so that's the presentation.
Okay,
Now you can go into your discussion.
great. Thank you for the presentation. That was like pretty helpful material on what we needed to know before we actually vote on giving or not giving them the shout out. So let's, does anyone have any comments to start off the discussion about whether or not we should go with that?
Is it possible to like kind of postpone the decision because we also have to decide on the new system of sponsoring them. So I'm not sure if we approve it right now, will they benefit from the new system of sponsoring or not? Because if they don't, they'll have to wait one more year based on that 1 year precedent we just set.
So that's a good question.
So point of clarification, what you would be approving or not tonight would be for the shout out on the social media, like what the program is right now. And they applied for that program, so you could make a guess that that's what they're interested in having is that shout out.
Yeah, I think that's a great point you bring up. They did know what the highlight would entail, which was just the post as of before this meeting. So they should that, and also it would be, I mean, it's on the agenda, so it would be better to finish this today, and then for future organizations, we will definitely make sure that they get everything that we're gonna decide on in the future.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, this feels like it was more of a last ditch college attempt by the last generation of seniors that just graduated, given the stalling we've seen since last year. But again, it's just a post. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, we like, even if we didn't just shut them out, it should be three for the second time, really. First day based since last year. It's not sure, not exactly sure. What's changed since last year, but. That.
Yeah, I feel like, as a lot of us said, like, there's really no harm in doing it, cause it's like just one post, there's no other like competing organizations, but I definitely agree that like one of my main concerns is seeing like their growth and how they're going to benefit from doing it a second time. So, yeah.
Yeah, just for reference, the question about what will your YLO look like after you graduate was also there last year when they applied. And looks like the biggest problem with the organization and its participation right now is the fact that everyone graduated. So that does raise some questions for me in terms of what they have been working towards, especially based on the criteria that we were looking at last year. But at the same time, they have a compelling reason for applying a second time. They do need the participation. They're also trying out a new initiative that requires more public facing participation. So it makes sense to me to give them the highlight.
Yeah, I agree with all you guys, like, there's no real harm in getting them a highlight. They probably need it right now, they don't really have a lot of members, and they're looking for more members, so giving a shout out to them would probably be very useful.
Yeah, I think we should definitely highlight them, but I want us to know like exactly what the highlight would be. Would it just be like, hey, check out this organization in Cupertino? Or would they have like a
That's a really good question. So it's usually a prepared post through our marketing and communications coordinator. And so I usually work a little bit with them, but I basically take it off the application and put together kind of my guess would be that we would probably try to do a highlight for their core program. And that there is some leeway on like when to post as well, because the marketing coordinator makes sure all of our like programs are on schedule. And so he sort of puts that in when we have an open. So we don't really commit to like, we will have a post by such and such date to promote a particular program, but maybe.
Okay.
I actually have a question. I know this sounds kind of bad, but I've never actually seen any of those posts about the YOs myself. So I just want to know, like, how many views does it get? Like,
I don't know. I could ask the marketing coordinator, and I could try to remember to let you know. He usually lets me know what day it will go up. And then I usually let the applicant know. Been approved, here's what we're gonna post, send me a picture. And get back to them and say, your post will go up on such and such day.
And to also help with like visibility, I've seen like a lot of the people do this, but they like have their own accounts, they repost it. So I think like we could also do the same thing with.
are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
You can do that if you're promoting a program, you can do that. I know it's a little confusing when all the things you can't do, but if you don't comment on it, good, you can repost to promote a program.
Okay. I think you bring up a great point, Commissioner Lau. I think we do need to know what the actual engagement these YLO highlights are getting as the people who are like issuing them. So I think maybe we can like during like the future agenda setting part, maybe we can consider inviting them or the outreach.
Yeah, marketing and communications coordinator, I think is correct. He did already come. That was Branton
Right.
that came. And so usually we won't call them back for the evening meetings, but I could check on that and get back to you.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we think we're ready to call for a motion to vote on Tino Echo? So,
There's no public comment still.
no public comment. Any final comments from the commission? Okay, so I'm gonna call for a motion to vote on whether or not Tino Echo gets a youth-led organization highlight. There any motions?
Not approved to choose if we choose to highlight, you know, like.
Second.
I'll hand it over to Sonia for the voting.
Okay, this is voting yes or no for highlighting Tino Echo. Commissioner Lau. Vice Chair Liu.
Yes.
Chair Misra.
Yes.
Commissioner Gao.
Yes.
Commissioner Prakash. Commissioner Deshmukh. Commissioner Halambi. Commissioner Kumar. Okay, the motion passes 9 yeses, 0 nos, and 0 absent.
Okay. So that's it for that item. Moving on to item number 6, subject is December Teen Commission meeting. Recommended action is discuss and provide feedback on possible cancellation of the December Teen Commission meeting.
Thank you again. Back to me. So I put this on the agenda just so that we officially talk about it. We usually do cancel December because most of you are in high school and you have finals in December, so that makes attendance a lot more difficult. Also, we don't have any planned agenda items for December specifically on the calendar. So I put that out to you in case there's a lot of you that really want to meet in December, but I will put it out that we usually do post or cancel that meeting.
Okay. So any thoughts about whether or not you're okay with this cancellation?
Cancel it.
I check my calendar, so I'll just.
Yeah, you can check your calendar.
I think Commissioner Prakash, you're the only one in middle school right now. Okay, looks like everyone else will be dealing with that. Are you?
One thing is, how urgent is like the rework of the YLO sponsorship? Because like if we just like postpone it for another month, it wouldn't affect too much, right?
Cancel the December meeting.
Yeah, if we cancel the December meeting, discuss in January instead.
Yeah, any kind of change to that program is gonna be slow and steady, not urgently done, so it's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we have no public comment.
Yeah, no final
Final
comments.
comments. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll vote on canceling December. Sorry, I'm not voting yet. I need to get a motion
Yeah.
in a second.
I'll call for a motion to cancel or to not cancel or not to vote on the cancellation of the December Teen Commission meeting.
A second.
Hand it over.
First. Second. Okay, so we're voting to cancel. So a yes means just clear. Commissioner Sue. Commissioner Lau. Vice Chair Liu.
Yes.
Chair Misra.
Yes.
Commissioner Gao.
Yes.
Prakash. Commissioner Deshmukh. Commissioner Halambi.
Yes.
Commissioner Kumar.
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion passes 9 yeses, 0 no.
Okay. So any staff, so we have staff and commission reports. Sonia?
Yes, I have a staff report.
Great.
Okay, getting there. How are we from when you guys? How far are we?
And now 40 minutes.
10 minutes to an hour? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Gonna be like around. Okay. Upcoming events, teen speaker series. We had our first already, and the next two. One is financial literacy, and that's this Saturday from November 15th, 1 p.m. here at Quinlan Community Center. The next will be tech career paths, and that's leading the series of November, and that will be November 22nd, Saturday at 1 p.m. And that one will be at Community Hall, so over by the library and City Hall. Okay, December, tree lighting. We still need a few volunteers, so if you're interested in volunteering, just drop an email to me and or Mr. Kaufman. It will be at Quinlan Community Center on December 5th at 6 p.m. It's really pretty. We go out front and Santa comes and the tree gets lit up, and then we have some activities in the building, and then Santa goes back and we have a whole setup. And you can get a free picture with Santa with your family. It's always in really good spirits. The next morning we have breakfast with Santa, which is a registered event, and that's here at Quinlan. And that's on December 6th at 8 a.m. is the first sitting. So it's actually 3 sittings throughout the morning, 100 people each for each sitting. Registered, it usually sells out. We could use a couple of elves, according to Mr. Kaufman. And so again, if you're interested, please let us know. Cupertino Cafe is going to be at Community Hall on December 13th from 2 to 8 p.m. For those of you who have not heard of this before, Cupertino Cafe is an opportunity for teens to come together and study for finals. But they usually put some nice music on, and I think they usually put the fireplace up on the screen and have some like de-stressor snacks, some games, I think, usually as well. So it's just a good opportunity to kind of come together with your friends and have them help with your studying. Then on also the same day, December 13th, here at Quinlan, we have Signing Santa, and that's a great program from 10 to noon. It's a program where the Santa actually can sign with hearing impaired kids. And that's a registered event. If you happen to know some signing you're on your own and you wanted to volunteer, that's a great opportunity to put that into use. And that's the last of our Santa events that we love Santa here in Cupertino is Santa Visits. That program is actually coordinated by Mr. Kaufman, our team coordinator, from December 13th to December 15th, and then again from December 20th to December 22nd. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's only 8 spots left, but Santa actually comes in the Santa Mobile, and we have the Santa Mobile is decorated with like lots of festive lights, and there's like a couple passengers in the back seat that are holiday passengers, and Santa comes with an elf and comes by the home and will visit with the kids out by the Santa Mobile and take pictures and pass out presents if they need to for the party. If a lot of people plan their party and have Santa come. So it's really fun. If you haven't seen it, great thing we do. Just reviewing some past events. In October, we had the Diwali Festival on October 11th. It was probably about 750 people per hour here, and that was just out on this back field. And then we also had the Ikebana Flower Show on October 18th and 19th, and they averaged about 300 people an hour in the building here. So very busy events. We also had Parks and Recreation events that we put on. One Treasures on October 23rd. I had about 1,000 participants. We run by 53 volunteers and some staff. I was there working. They did 18,000 in sales that went towards the Senior Center Stay Active Fund. And that's all from people finding treasures in their house that they want to donate, and then people come and buy the treasures. So it's a pretty cool program. Monster Mash. We had Brianna and Harley were our MCs. They did a great job. It's a super fun event. Did anybody else come before besides those two from Teen Commission? No. Super fun, very, very crowded. But we had 210 registered kids. Where for every registration, the family can come with that registered child to do the activities. And so basically for every registered kid, we have 2 parents and often 2 grandparents and maybe like a baby in tow. So it gets very, very crowded here. And we had a lot of fun. Then also we already had, as part of the Teen Speaker Series, the first night was college planning on November 1st, and there was over 20 participants at that speaker series. So you should be proud of yourselves because the Teen Commission actually prioritized all the topics. And so they did the top 3 priority topics in November. That's how Mr. Kaufman has organized it. And then finally, of the city events, overall city events, we had the Crest Awards and the Commissioner's Dinner on October 29th. And I saw May, who else was there? Chelsea, Sanvi, Samaja, yeah. So Samaja, I'm sorry, so sorry. And then some of you have your certificates in front of you, finally got those. So all incoming and then outgoing, who obviously aren't here anymore, receive certificates, so next year. And that's everything I have for my update.
Are there any questions from the commission? I had a quick question. For
Yep.
Cooper, are we gonna have tutors this year?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, no worries.
Cafe, is there a way for them to make it like quieter? Because last time it was like super loud, like even with the music on, I could still hear like everyone talking.
Okay, like ask for it to be more of a quiet zone. Okay, I will give that feedback to Mr. Kaufman. Are you asking about the tutors because you want tutors there or because you don't want tutors there?
I think it could be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Any public comment?
There is no public comment. Sorry, that's me.
Yeah, no worries. All right, any final comments from the commission? All right, we're done with that agenda item and then on to future agenda setting. So we do have that part about working on finalizing what we actually want that YLO highlight package to be. So how does the future agenda setting section work?
I can take that because I definitely heard that from your discussion, and so I'll just put some, we, the 2 of us can come up with like exactly what the agenda item is, but maybe like analyzing the current program and the benefit that you get, and then we'll put that on the agenda discussion.
All right. I can move on. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Ready?
Any other, you can ask for any other agenda items, and usually if it's not put on by your chair, then if somebody suggests it, it would need to be like basically seconded before we would put it on future agenda.
Okay.
So
Any other topic suggestions for future agenda setting today? Okay. Are we ready to adjourn?
I think we're ready.
Okay, at 7:45 PM, I adjourn this meeting.